you read Body by Science, you saw amazing results in your friends and yourself, and you had this kind of burning passion. And one day you just went into work and you just kind of handed in notice, said, "I'm done. I'm moving on." Did you talk to the wife? Did she,
Mm.
did can you walk us through that? Like, did you talk to her beforehand? Did you say, "Oh, by the way, I've left our really, this really great career"?
Like these days, people are more aware of the importance, particularly women, of strength training
Right.
for and health and muscle mass, bond, all those things. And they're looking for something like this, and they come to you, right? And you tell them the story, and they say it like, what you're doing right now. Yes, that's me. That's me. Said, I know. That's why I'm telling this story, because I know this is universal, and it works.
Lawrence Still here, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, your one-stop shop for growing your strength training business and fueling your passion for high intensity strength training. Today, I am joined by Andrei Yakovenko, owner of New Element Training in Toronto, Canada. Andrei came to Canada, and he can correct me on any of this, over 20 years ago, just $5 in his pocket, and built a successful career in geophysics, building special sensors for aircraft. He then stumbled upon Body by Science and left geophysics behind to invest in his true passion, high intensity strength training. And then back in 2018, when we first podcasted together for the first time, Andrei had just one location. He now has 3 strength training studios in Toronto, Canada. Andrei, great to be with you.
Hi, Lawrence. So, well, you are like 90% accurate
Okay.
with my bio. I left Ukraine with $5 in my pocket, less actually, and I flew to Israel first in 1995. But
Okay.
to be honest, I knew when I'm gonna land there, I'm gonna get some money from local agency, welcome immigrants. So I knew they're gonna get some money. But yeah, reality is I was living alone. I was 20 years old. I had less than $5, and off to a new journey, building a new life. So and then in '98, I left Israel with my wife, and we came to Canada. At that time, I had more than $5. And yeah, so then I established career in airborne geophysics, where we didn't build any aircraft parts. We simply, conducted surveys for companies like mining, exploration companies, government, offering them kind of various remote sensing, data. But for the rest, the bias.
God. Thank you for the clarity. And yeah, I knew as I was reading, I was like, oh, this is not 100% accurate, I bet.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So on that note, one of the things you said when we spoke it back in 2018, obviously we've done a podcast since then as well with Philip Shepherd about Deep Fitness, your amazing book. And we'll link to previous podcasts, by the way, in the notes to this and on the website. And one of the things you said is that you just, you read Body by Science, you saw amazing results in your friends and yourself. And you had this kind of burning passion. And one day you just went into work and you just kind of handed in notice, said, "I'm done. I'm moving on." I have had a similar experience where I've done that, very much like that. And the first thing that went through my head is, did you talk to the wife? Did she,
Mm.
had, did, can you walk us through that? Like, did you talk to her beforehand? Did you say, "Oh, by the way, I've left our really, this really great career"? Tell me about that.
Very good question. Actually, she's right here behind. So, second, complex question. Because, of course, she's my partner, we had 2 kids, and I had to talk with her, right? But at the same time, the way my senior partner made allow me to become a partner, it was very favorable deal. Like he didn't have to do it. And so a couple of reasons I didn't want to talk to anybody. One, I didn't want to get lawyers involved. And because now it's a big deal. Once you have family, you're responsible for financial well-being for your kids and wife and mortgage and cars and everything else. It's kind of risky, to leave and without getting a lawyer involved. But I didn't want to get any lawyers involved. So one of the reasons I didn't want to talk to anybody. And secondly, I had a really great job. I was in charge of North American operations. I was the boss. That's it. So I wasn't looking for another job. And my concern was if I talk, with my partner about it, she would want to have like, okay, so what's your plan B? Right? Like, where are you going to get, like, okay, you're going to, before you leave, before you resign, you need to show me how you're going to make, money. You're going to get another job. What's going to be. But the idea for me was I felt an urge to test myself in deep waters, like, jump off the cliff and try to open that parachute and hope it opens, or try to swim, in the deep waters without knowing how to swim. So those kind of reasons, I decided to do it alone.
Yeah.
I went to work and I just wrote a resignation letter. And it took me a year to sit on this idea and kind of to push it down. How like I already have, as an immigrant, I had single-digit income, was, kind of boss and like, house, cars, kids, like what else, right? You know, I had,
Right.
established kind of like middle class kind of lifestyle and everything was fine.
And you did you come from a lot less than that?
Much less, much less. I had
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
I must say.
Right. So to you, that was like pinnacle.
Yeah. So to me, it was a big achievement already, right? And to walk away from it was crazy. But for about a year, I remember it took me about a year to realize that I had to leave because I would literally wake up every morning and rather than focusing on my business, I would give these thoughts going through my head, probably similar to yours, and like, there's something more, like this is not enough. Like I have more I can give. I need to challenge myself in, deeper ways and also more rewarding ways in terms of running a business, starting a business and benefiting from that, not just for me, also for my family, assuming the business, would be successful. So anyway, so all that to say, like after a year of kind of pushing those thoughts down, and then one day I realized, I'm in my late 30s at that time, and they're not gonna go away. They're either gonna drive me crazy, or I'm gonna grow old and regret them, or I'm gonna take a risk, and I knew I'm gonna get some money for my shares. And whatever will be, will be. So I decided to just resign without telling anybody, including my wife. So it took us a month to negotiate a deal of, how much money I'll get for my shares. And the story is, after work, we went to a restaurant with my little girls, baby girls back then. And I showed her the receipt from the money I deposited in the new company that I started. And then she looked at the receipt at the amount and she didn't say a word for 30 minutes. That will, anyway, so she didn't love the fact that I didn't share that. But, for those reasons, I felt at that time that I kind of needed to do it alone because otherwise I didn't feel like it would be done right. Like to, So.
Yeah. Wow. What a story. But it worked out.
But she's here now and she's working for business. She runs all that admin. Super busy. Business is profitable, so we're making money. So it was, at the end of the day, it was worth it, but it wasn't smooth transition.
Sure. Yeah. So cool. And sort of shifting gears, I just want to check in with how the book's doing because the book, like, it's a great book. Very popular. Lots of people had very positive things to say. We're talking about deep fitness now. There's the book title. And, there's books that come out in our space that don't really see that much success. And it looks like it's done quite well. Like, how is it going? Like, are you happy with how the book's going? Is it still something that, you think a lot about or what's your thoughts about that?
Not definitely thinking much less about it now. It's been almost 4 years. Well,
right.
October is 4 years. And since it was published, I don't know the exact numbers of how many copies we sold because the way it works, every 6 months, they're going to kind of send you a check and show you for this period, this is what we sold. But I think we did okay. There was a couple years ago more, I saw we made a bestseller on Wall Street Journal, ebook category, which is like, there was, Peter Attia's book, like number 4 or 5, and us like number 9.
What does he know?
Yeah. Anyway, And it's also been translated now to Chinese.
Oh,
So yeah, they translated it, I don't know, a few months ago. So I don't know how it's selling there because they don't tell you. But um, yeah, book definitely gave us credibility, tons of new clients. And more
tons of
importantly,
new clients, really?
yeah, quite a few. Yeah, definitely. Particularly when we did PR for it, when we went to the local podcast, local radio stations, like
Right. Because it gave you something more to talk about. Yeah.
yeah. And
Right.
I had this client the other day. I was chatting with her. She said, "Well, the reason I'm still here is because your book scared the shit out of me. Basically, like she's gonna, die old and frail. Like she's like, so the book, brought that urgency for our demographics to explain. Like I think we explained fairly well the importance of maintain muscle strength and mass as
Yeah.
we grow older. So that kind of what it served its purpose. It gives us credibility. It people who took time to read it understood what it's all about, and they became clients who basically almost never leave. Like they're still clients, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of retention and all those things. But it's been like for years now. In fact, actually, I just wrote another one. This
Oh,
is
really?
that book. The fitness was more about kind of general book about the importance of doing strength training and introducing our form of strength training as one
Hmm.
of the most efficient ways of taking care of that problem. This is more specifically about new element training, how we work at new element training, my personal story. Um, so we'll see. I wasn't that busy in August. I had time, you know, and being in nature and so on, and I have to do something. So I sat down and I wrote another book.
Yeah. Wow. I'm excited. Yeah. Keep us posted on that one.
Yeah,
Would
well,
love to see the manuscript when it's ready. Cool. So, all right. So now, we spoke, you started 2013, the first location. We spoke in 2018. And then shortly after that, after obviously the pandemic, you opened two more locations. Um, one in a health center in Yorkville and one in a museum of contemporary art building. And these are all still in Toronto, right?
yeah, so in Toronto, only the last
Yeah.
one, then we moved it to a different neighborhood. It's like not far from it because
Okay.
that original third location, it's a beautiful space, 100-year-old loft building, modern, 20-foot ceilings, our machines, MedX, they look great in kind of
I'll
mass
bet.
workspace,
Yeah.
but it was hidden. So it was purely destination location. And after a year there, I just realized, okay, just do not run anywhere. So I moved it to a much better neighborhood, not far, but now we have a retail space with nice street view, amazing neighborhood. And I'm telling you, the growth there has been like this, like it just up and
Wow.
up. It's showed me that location actually showed me the formula of what neural training, where we should go and how to open future locations. Because
So this is your
the
latest
growth,
location.
this is the third one. So we moved it and the growth there have been just phenomenal. And we don't advertise. Like I literally, in 12 years in business, I think I tried that social media advertisement once for a couple of months and it worked. But then, it brought so many unqualified clients. And, we offer a free intro, 1 hour intro, and I was giving all my energy. Yeah, and then people will realize they just came because they wanted to try something for free. They're not serious. So I stopped doing it. But, the overall, the product is good. We refined it to the point where it works nicely. The locations are, you know, running properly. So we organically actually growing. Like I literally put zero in ads and marketing, and yet we're still growing organically, slowly but surely.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and just neighborhood, being in the right neighborhood. But it's 100% organic. Zero. I put $0 right now.
So this is the one you moved. That's your third location. You've moved that
Yeah,
into a really great area, it sounds
yeah,
like. Can you talk more about the area? Because it sounds like that's
yeah.
played a huge part in this. Yeah.
Exactly. So the area there is well here in Toronto is called Blue Village. Um, Mature area, older neighborhood, has that kind of neighborhood feel. In those communities, people tend to support their local businesses. Demographics, people who live there, our kind of client base, a bit older, not everybody, but enough kind of mature people, people who care about their well-being, people with, good income. It's not a cheap neighborhood. So all those, attributes, it's a nice retail space in a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood, and surrounded by density of our demographics, people who are, maturish and older, and they care about the well-being and they can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Makes sense. And is it a good spot well, I don't know if this matters that much. I'm curious what you think. Is it very visible? Like, do you get many walk-ins, or is it mostly people find you if it's from referral or they're searching online with intent? It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
that visible. I'm curious.
That location, I would say probably 50 passing by and 50 referrals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is very visible then.
Very visible. It's a big retail space, storefront in a business.
Wow. Okay. And do you mind me asking, like, what kind of session volume you're doing across the free studios?
Well, right now, if you look at weekly, first of all, let's start like since COVID, when I look, using my body and gives it that, past 3 years, how many sessions you've done this month, this year, this month, previous year, this month, the year before, or sales, should I say. And it's been pretty much every month with beating the previous year. It's been like this for continuously, essentially, right?
Good for you.
Right now, we're doing between the 4 location. It's over 400. I would say like somewhere between like in the beginning of the week, I might have like 430, 440 appointments booked. By the time we finish the week, we might have end up like 400 because, as you know, people cancel.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of fluctuating right now between 4 to 430 kind of one-on-one sessions.
Okay. Now, so you said 4. Did he mean 3, or is there another one?
3 locations.
Right. Okay, I missed that.
Actually, I bought more machines and I'm opening number 4. I just haven't found I want a specific neighborhood in Toronto, one of the more affluent ones, and very hard to find.
Surely, I'm surprised. I mean, look, that session volume is great, but I'm surprised you're opening a 4 for that. I mean, do you have? I'm assuming, unless you're okay. Let me rephrase. I assume you have more capacity for sessions than the existing 3, unless you're strict about it being private. Remind me, about the.
Sorry, ask again.
Yeah, that was a terrible question, wasn't it? That was like the worst question ever.
No.
What I'm trying to understand is, like, that's an impressive number of sessions, but I would assume that you'd still have quite a lot of capacity at the 3 locations and to focus on that versus opening a 4th.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you just can't help yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So to me, as long as the location is profitable and moving in the right direction, it's good enough for me. Like, I'm not going to wait until it becomes perfect, because I know that we're going to do well if I open it in the right neighborhood. So the 3 locations, they're all profitable. They're more or less self-sufficient. I know I'm still doing pretty much all of our intros. And to me, the dream was always to establish kind of a national brand specializing in strength for health and what we do. And right now with 3 locations, we can kind of get in by with me shooting from the hip. But I cannot, and I'm pretty anxious already. It's not that I want to be more anxious, but I figured opening number 4 will force me to look into this business more seriously and actually, establishing proper policies, procedures, systems, right? I'll have no choice because there's no way I can run 4 locations and be everywhere. So that
I've
was
never
kind
heard
of the
this.
motivation.
Yes, yeah. I met you must be extremely talented, Andrei, because I've never heard anyone been able to run 3 locations shooting from the hip. Like, it's really impressive. But yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe this is the time to get those systems dialed.
That's why I kind of wrote my book, because the idea was, I remember flying, I went to Austria, Munich and Austria, to buy machines. and flying back and kind of being away from the business for a few days. And I knew I need, a good manual for the trainers to maintain consistency and
Right.
how we do everything else. Because the one I wrote, I did it before COVID and it was kind of outdated. So I needed something more current. And I sat on this for years, like, oh, who wants to sit down and start writing manuals and shit? And then I thought, well, all I need to do is write something that will help the new trainers to understand what net, neural training is about at its heart.
Mm.
And then if I do that, if they understand what we are at the core of the business, what's the heart, what the journey, what the background, that's all and then the rest is the technicality. Then we focus on the specific variations in these machines. But I wanted to kind of see neural training through my eyes, through the eyes of the guy who created it, right? Rather than you hire a trainer, they just walk in, they see some machines and, it's kind of superficial. I want to write something that get to the kind of the depth of what the business is all about. So I started writing it and I thought, I could include clients in this book, right? I did the manual because I will tell a story about the clients, bringing clarifications, what kind of results they should expect, addressing some, common questions,
Sure.
misunderstandings, all those things. And then I wrote that. So I wrote kind of 3 parts and shared with a couple of my friends and they loved it and said, but you know what, this is all great, but we want to learn about you. What's your background? What's your personal story? Okay, fine. So I added that. And now it looks like I just made a book. But the initial idea is to help us to put something, so it's consistent with our current, the way we train, what the business is all about. So that's the idea behind the book I just kind of wrote. And that will help us, I believe, to establish that consistency between, all the trainers and all the locations. And the rest is kind of will be just, technicality from that admin side, but I want to make sure that the trainers really understand what we are at the core all about.
Yeah. So you've written an employee handbook that you're going to publish as an actual book. So you're double dipping here, right? You're not
triple dipping it. That's like my story, the story of this, hopeful entrepreneur living in Ukraine with $5 and kind of like, well, I'm going back to my 20, teens, just kind of my personal story. So it's like kind of immigrant inspirational story. You can look at it that way. At least that's feedback people giving me that they read.
Massive. Yeah, definitely.
It's something for the clients, right? Too. I want clients also. I want to be transparent with clients. Clients and trainers, this is what you do. And also as a client, you will know what kind of service you should expect, right? And as a trainer, you know that the clients know what service they expect. So then I put everything transparent out there and hoping that it will bring more consistency for the trainers.
So what we should be saying to everyone is, hey, write your employee handbook and then also publish it for PR as well, right?
We'll see. I sent it to my publisher. It's been a month.
Half joking.
They say they're going to look into it and they're excited to look into it. It's been a month. I haven't heard back. But the reality is whether it's going to be properly published or not.
Yeah, you can self-publish.
I'll just self-publish. Yeah, just for my clients. So I'm not really worried.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's really, I've not heard that being done before. That would be cool. So, and you're still doing the intro workouts across all locations. So are you finding that, I mean, I don't know how many you're generating right now, but are you finding that easy to manage? Like jumping from the free?
It's hard, particularly if I still want to train some clients. And when of course, clients want to train with you, right?
Of course.
So I don't take any more recurring clients. So I really, really limited my time to train people. I still like to be at least, for a few hours, per location to train clients. But for the most part, I try to keep my schedule fluid so I can move around. Well, the locations not far from each other. Between the latest one at Blue West Village to the downtown one, it's like 30 minutes drive, right? So I can move. Some days I go between 3. I could have intros or clients here, intro there. But I just kind of stopped for the most part training clients, and I keep my schedule relatively fluid so I can focus on the intros and that. Or just have better lifestyle. For the last year, I never had this actually more than a year, maybe a couple years now, but definitely last year, I never enjoyed as an adult this kind of lifestyle. Like some days I'm done like at 12 and 1. Like if I don't have interest, I just go home. Sophie, my wife does all the administrative work behind the scenes, scheduling and stuff. So I don't have to worry about that. And I just, I come home and I cook for kids. I just relax. Way, way better lifestyle, even though running 3 locations, because I have good trainers and they know what they're doing. I try to go for mature trainers, with experience, general experience, and then, introduce them to our concept. And we have such a variety of machines. The good ones, they get it because they've been around for a long time and they've been working for various different types of gyms. So when they see quality, they see it and they appreciate it. So we have great trainers across all the locations. Once I sign client up, I just, send it to them and they take over. And
Excellent.
that allows me to have nice lifestyle. This past summer, I think I was away for 5 weeks in total. Like I was away more than actually working.
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, good for you. Well, you've earned it, right? You spent a lot of years building this, and so it's really cool to hear. You're reminding me of Owen Dockham at Live Oak Strength. Do you know that name?
Well, I know the name of the business.
Yeah, he obviously they're based in Emeryville, California, and he's got a similar situation now. Where he's built a great business, very much similar to yours. Word of mouth, great reputation, great brand, great team. His team have done a great deal, and he has that balance now where he's can work in or on the business as much as he likes, and then he has his young family, he has his hobbies, he has a great balance for him. He has a cabin in the woods somewhere, all this stuff. And you very much reminded me of that. And it's interesting to me because I feel like both of you have really cracked something. It's obviously about the people. It's obviously about hiring the right people so that you can hand over clients. In Owen's case, he's been really great at systems. You not so much, but you have got some systems obviously in place, right? At least the minimum. And obviously you've really focused on, and this is something you shared actually, Andrei, back in 2018. I asked you for your advice to new trainers listening, and you were like, stay passionate about the product, stay passionate about the simplicity of high intensity training. And what happens in our industry, a lot of people start these businesses and they lose that passion because it's hard. It's not easy. There's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of people that will not get it, as you know, right? And you look around and you're like, I'm by myself. No one's doing this stuff. And, it can be very lonely. And so it's very hard to, and then what happens then? Well, then you stop training as much. You don't take it seriously. You don't take your health as seriously. Maybe you put on some weight, this kind of thing can happen, right? And I feel like you want to see the similarities in those who are really successful. It's this like unwavering passion for HIIT and it's sticking with it and it's keeping it simple. Like you just do one-on-one, right? I don't think you do group. Is that correct?
One-on-one, because we are really good at it. And I'm really don't want to touch that formula. I tried semi-private. I'm still kind of trying to get a feel for it, realizing that we could be, making more income that way. But one-on-one works. We are profitable. I maintain good lifestyle. We pay, decent wages to the trainers. So, it's kind of working. So for now,
yeah. I think it's not to say no one should be doing semi-private. It's just to say like you've done a really great job keeping it simple. I think that's the thing is simple and staying on brand with the high intensity training.
And this is what we've done. This is kind of what I talk quite a bit in my new book.
Right.
Kind of, what's in retrospect, looking back, why we're here today. Because if, part of it is staying consistent, focusing on one thing, focus-based business. And once you do, one thing for 1,000 times, or, in our case, tens of thousands of times, right, you get good at it. And if anybody wants a high quality strength training workout for, quality of life and health and well-being, we really have no not much competition. We won the best. And our clients recognize it. Our typical clients are executives and, kind of middle upper class, lots of people who've been around, have personal trainers and have all the money to go anywhere else. And yet they stick with us for years and years and years because the product works and it's very sustainable. And this is kind of the key is, that's one of the reasons I like still doing the intros, because I, develop a story, as probably most of us in this industry, how we introduce this. And, the story starts with a little bit history, but then focusing on the whys, essentially why muscle is the organ of longevity, making that clear to the prospect client. And then telling them, essentially, this is not the only way to train. I'm not saying there is no other ways to build muscle and strength. If you understand basics of exercise physiology, you can, skin the cat in many different ways. But what makes us unique is, yes, we're very efficient in terms of 30 minutes. You won't get any other kind of workout give you as many benefits as you can get from this style of training. But what's more important than that is it's really sustainable. And since the muscle is a organ of longevity, and if you want, optimal aging, if you age of 40 and above, you must do strength training. There's really no, it should be a lifestyle, really.
Brushing
And
your teeth.
how our approach is sustainable as a lifestyle. And because it's only 30 minutes once or twice a week, safe, people don't get hurt, generally. And it works. So I tell them, this is our difference. You can go somewhere else, work out, and if that's what you want to. There's plenty of other gyms out there. But if you want something sustainable that works, it's us. And, you mentioned something about how you feel lonely. Yeah, that definitely felt like that for the first few years in business, not anymore. Like these days, people are more aware of the importance, particularly women, of strength training. And health and muscle mass, all those things. And they're looking for something like this. And they come to you, right? And you tell them the story and they say like, what you're doing right now. Yes, that's me. This means that I know. That's why I'm telling this story, because I know this is universal. And it works.
Before we go any further, I just want to quickly thank our sponsor, Barvik GmbH. Building a successful strength training business requires top quality exercise machines and a reliable source of spare parts. Sourcing MedX machines, known for their exceptional design and performance, can be challenging, often leaving you dependent on the secondary market. Barvik GmbH, based in Hamburg, Germany, offers a solution. Led by Egger Barvik, who spent over 40 years working with and learning about Nautilus and MedX machines, and also completed a 3.5-year apprenticeship at Mercedes, mastering quality engineering, Barvik produces German-engineered MedX machines in India with thoughtful enhancements over their US counterparts. Barvik machines are trusted by happy customers all over the world, including members of the high-intensity business community. They're even being supplied in large volumes to major fitness brands like Keiser Training. For example, my former business partner and current HIB member Sean purchased MedX equipment from Barvik for his studio here in Galway, Ireland, and both he and his clients couldn't be happier. From popular pieces like the leg press, pullover, and bicep curl to rarer gems like the super forearm and tibialis, Barvik offers a wide selection of 35 MedX models built higher for easy movement with a pallet jack, zinc-plated weight plates, flat steel core belts instead of carbon fiber, and adjustable 90mm rubber feet. And right now, you can get 5% off a minimum order of 6 machines, but only for the next 3 months. This offer expires October 31st, so don't wait. Visit medx.eu, tell the team what you need, and choose the machines to grow your business. That's medx.eu, medx.eu. And now, back to the episode.
So the way we sign people, so I give them my time. So the first 1 hour is educational. I talk a lot, like what I'm doing right now, but everybody signs up. So as long as signs up, conversion rate is super high. Like, again.
Well, it's referrals as well. So that's why
referrals. So even passing by, like if it's the right demographics, age and, income, everybody signs up. So I signed them up. I will give them 4 trial sessions because, I don't want to sell you any packages. long term until actually try the workout, see if this is, your cup of tea or not. So from the intro, we moved them to 4 trial sessions, no other commitments. And after 4 trial sessions, let the product speak for itself. And then if they still
4
like
trial
it,
sessions, so that's free or that's a
no,
package?
they pay for it.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Either cheapest
I
price
saw
per
on your
session.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, the cheapest price per session. And then, but it's really no other commitment. So it's kind of giving clients an opportunity to try it without, any commitments and no obligations. And then, most of them like it, of course. And then they just like no pressure. We don't have, pressure, any pressure like sales tactics. And we just, let the product speak for itself. And the product speaks for itself, and people staying and not leaving.
It's funny. I just did a podcast recently with someone, and we were talking about the importance of listening. And you talk a lot. I'm not sure you listen too, Andrei. I don't mean to say you're just not listening, but you said there you talk a lot during the intro, but you convert high anyway. So I wonder, you just have some kind of je ne sais quoi about you, Andrei. Like maybe you're obviously very knowledgeable and passionate. And maybe your conviction for this it just makes it work. It just makes you successfully, get those people over the line. And like you say, with low pressure. I mention that just because, as you say, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? But I would say that you're very charismatic, and that certainly helps, and knowledgeable, of course.
Well, thank you. Whatever it's combination of all the things, it works, and that's that's why I'm doing the intros, because they work.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't let go of that until much later. It's interesting listening to you. Again, I gave the example of Owen. I'm listening to you. You sound so much more chilled out. Not that you were stressed before from memory, but you have a great balance. You're getting lots of time off. It's inspiring, because I know there'll be people listening to this going, I want that. Because you know what, the number one, when I surveyed my whole audience, like the number one biggest challenges in our space, can you guess what it is?
I don't know.
I thought it would be like leads, because everyone wants more leads, right? It's burnout and overwhelm. It's the most common.
Yeah.
Leads is a close second. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people feel burnt out and overwhelmed? And how would you go about fixing that if you were talking to a colleague?
And this is, going back to, I use this word mindful strength training and so on. I found that, so when I open your elementary, you've been to Kiza training, right? You know the size and the scope and the investment it takes to open. So I kind of try to copy them. So imagine investing in over 30 machines and the space. I have some medical machines as well, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment. Not just, 20, 30,000 just to buy a few machines, right? And opening it, and I flew in Bob Sikora. Like, if you haven't had Bob Sikora on your podcast,
I haven't. I know the name.
He's like old timer. He was a salesman for Nautilus and then MedX. Like, if you want some stories, this is a great guy to interview. So I flew in Bob Sikora because I bought the original MedX through him. He was MedX, one of the sales people for MedX. And I remember he was telling me, you're about 10 years ahead of, the market, right? And I just, how right he was. Back then, as nobody was looking for it. We were like, just like trying to convince these, people how great this product is, but nobody was looking for us. Nobody, even women still did mostly aerobics. There was no consensus that strength training, should be done as a lifestyle and so on. And now, like for the last 2-3 years, they all come and they're looking for us. They didn't know. Like once you give them intro, like this is exactly what they need. This is exactly what they need, because population way more educated now. Anyway, so when I opened it, it was so hard. Like I was about to lose. I could have used that money to pay off the balance of my mortgage and be mortgage free. Imagine how easy that would be, relieve my family, right? Instead, like,
you really wanted to do this.
Few months in the business, I'm about to lose everything. Like there are no clients and, huge overheads and bleeding through cash, like thousands of dollars every month. And nobody's going to give you a loan to, cash trap startup that losing money, really fast. And my kind of, I felt like my back was against the wall. So it was very stressful. And I had this client, and I told this story in my original podcast, Barnett Bain. He was in Toronto filming a movie. He's a movie director. And that movie was about mindfulness. And he's a huge mindfulness kind of proponent. And something he told me that resonated with me. He said that I can feel your fear. And you know what? Others feel it too. So you should look inside you, try to figure it out and try to deal with those fears. Because once you do that, no marketing will build your business as much as, your energy kind of just work on your fears and people will come. And this is where I started practicing mindfulness and even started introducing mindfulness cues to the workout. And it was quite effective. And I really love that. That was a phase in my life. And so just give you an example how you deal with that is, you have a bill to pay and it's big bill. Like I remember looking at it, like, over 10,000 like in dollars, I had to pay our bills. I cannot pay it right now. So, well, if you have a bill to pay, if you can pay it, pay it. If not, put it aside and then return to what you're doing right now and be fully present to that experience. So I started prioritizing that I cannot control that, but what I can control is myself in this moment and my interaction with the client in this moment. And this is where business started to churn. So it took me a few months, so like even I would say 2-3 years to sort of refine, just mostly for my own personal benefits, but also it had a huge positive effect on my business. So before COVID, I was the main trainer, right? Because I had trainers before they left, and after a couple of years, and I thought, well, I should be the main trainer because one, if I want to grow this as a brand, at some point I need to write the manual or teach other trainers how this brand operates. And for me to know that I have to understand my product, can't be just the manager, right? So I decided to become a trainer. And then, so that was one reason I became a trainer. And the second one, I could now control my overheads because now I don't have those salaries to pay somebody else where, I can keep the money, in the company, right? And so I would say prior to COVID, for about 3 or so years, maybe it's 4, essentially I did like 70-80% of our sessions. I remember like having normally like 20-24 sessions a day, 5 days a week. I didn't work weekends. I said, screw it. I need those weekends to recover. I need the Saturday, Sunday. Because if I didn't have relaxing Saturday, Sunday, I would feel like tired starting Monday. And then while I was working with clients, I was, applying those principles of being present, being mindful. And I was getting tired. Like if you're on my schedule and you're like last 3, 4, 5 clients in the evening, I tell you like, forget about not getting a quality workout for me purely because I can, I'm bad. But anyway, so it's the mindfulness that kind of allowed me not to burn out. I credit a lot like to success of the business in those critical years. Is that my kind of dedication to practice of being more present and mindful and, dealing with those fears. And so that's kind of why I think I didn't get burned out. And then COVID happened all of a sudden, like you have so much free time because everything is shut down. So that was great as well in a way. It was tough on the business, but in terms of, I needed kind of that time to kind of just recharge my batteries. And then we built it from there. So, I know, kind of long story, but the point is, it was mindfulness that helped me not to burn out.
Fascinating. Luke Carlson over at Discover Strength, one of his sort of tenets that he always preaches is one set, one rep, one client. So it's like, that's that mindfulness being manifested, right? I am right here now in this rep. All I am is in this set and all I am is with this client. Because it's like, if you solve that, you solve so many of your problems. You solve your retention problems. You solve your referral, your lead gen problems. You solve your finance problems. Like you solve a lot of problems just by being present on that, the thing that matters most. And it comes back to what we're saying about simplicity. Like if we can just get really great at the workout experience and the customer experience, then it's going to solve a lot of the problems, help grow the business. Um, that's really interesting. I'd love to ask you more about that. I do also want to ask you, Andre, about machines. We haven't really talked about MedX all that much. You have one of the biggest MedX footprints in North America. North America. That is correct. I had to
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about what I said
probably
then.
so.
So, and obviously, we've partnered with Egger. We've been talking about Barvich GmbH, which is Eggert's MedX business. Eggert's based in Hamburg in Germany, but he manufactures MedX in India, and it's very, very high quality MedX with really nice looking machines, some nice design modifications, lovely looking upholstery, nice restraints, all of that good stuff. Can you tell us about your MedX equipment across the locations and tell us about some of the Egger's pieces that I know you've acquired and like your thoughts on that? That'd be great to hear.
Yeah. So the original location that we opened, I would say most of them were medics from the States. And then I bought pieces, Delphix from Germany at that time that they still don't manufacture in North America, like rotator cuff, the J tower, the multi exerciser, rolling back, neck machine. Like, no, actually MedX make, but the one over there is like so good from Germany. Anyway, so I had probably like 5 pieces Delphix, German made MedX. And then since then, I pretty much stopped buying the North American and I committed only buying other, Delphix, which is the German made brand, or through Eggert, which is essentially the same machines as Delphix.
Sure.
They, for these reasons, they look more current. They look like, 21st century equipment. Just the details, right? They look like when you look at, when you put MedX or Delphix or whatever, Eggert, which is the same, the one looks from 21st century, the other one kind of looks from maybe 20th century, right? Even though functionality is the same, but, the shields have a little bit more structure to it. The upholstery has a little bit more texture to it. They use these, plastic cups to cover the balls, and the adjustment of the seats. They have the springs. Just need one finger to leave the seat rather than, But the most important thing, biomechanically, I cannot really tell you that there's that much difference. At least I'm not. It's not that important to me personally to figure out which one is biomechanically.
Yeah.
Like if you do chest press better MedX than Delphix, to me they'll can feel the same. But the main outside of looking more current, which is important, when clients walk in, you want to have equipment that looks present, not like some old pieces from the last
Helps,
century.
right.
What's the best thing about? I don't know. Do you have some of the German-made MedX?
We do. Well, I say we Optima Strength, which is the studio I helped co-found in Galway. They have at least, I would say, at least maybe 5 to 10 from MedX. I call it MedX Europe, MedX US, MedX Europe. It's not entirely accurate, but it's easy to understand. So from Eggert's business, So all of what you're saying is right. I mean, sorry, you were going to go on to say.
Yeah. So what I say, to me, the most important one, well, outside of looking as a current modern machine piece of equipment, is that you can get under those machines with a forklift or pump truck, and you can move.
Right.
I don't know why MedX doesn't do that. It's such an easy modification, just lifting those crossbars on the frames, putting some, feet there, right?
Yeah,
and
like
now you can move that machine around the Jeep. I can take it if I have double doors and wrap. I don't have to even to take it apart to move it. With MedX, you have to take it apart. You can't really move the whole piece, right? Even if you want to move the machine inside the Jeep, it's heavy, right? Particularly if you have a carpet, it's whatever. So with those ones, I just have a pump truck. I come in and I move it. It makes huge difference. So for me, that if I have a choice, one of the reasons I always go with the European MedX, will put Egger's brand, Delphix, all in that category, is they're relatively easy to move when you have a pump truck or forklift versus MedX, because MedX is really hard to move.
Right. Okay. And they got the nice chrome looking plates as well, the weight
Yeah,
plates.
exactly.
They look
Exactly. That's
nice.
exactly. So they just look modern, current, right? Like they look like they've been manufactured in this century.
Yeah, no, yeah. Appreciate your input. Obviously, all MedX is wonderful, but these are just some of the standout
Yeah.
things for I guess MedX. Absolutely.
Biomechanics wise, I don't think, there's much difference.
Mhm.
But in terms of those other, little details, to me, they're important. So from pretty much from those years and now, I only buy like European versions. I seldom buy them. So unless a specific piece I look and I cannot find it anywhere else, then I might buy the American one. But other
Yeah.
than that, I always buy through Agard.
What's the secondary market like? In Canada for
Europe.
MedX. Oh yeah, actually I should
Because
know that
nobody's
because
using it. It's just Blair,
yeah,
using it
yes.
myself. And like, I don't know, there's probably some other like
And
smaller operations.
Sumi and Alana over at Evolve Strength in Calgary, and that's it. Well, there are
Yeah,
other
well, even like
being
those.
unfair. There's lots, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
there's not really no market. Like to me,
yeah.
I cannot even like I invest on it, but to sell it, there's nobody is looking for it. It's really hard if I want to sell it.
Yeah. No, I said that, and then I remembered that I know people from Canada are trying to source MedX, and they're often going to, they're talking to Bill Casto and people down in the US trying to find stuff on the secondary market there. So that makes sense. Yeah, cool. Okay. So what are you? What's the how many MedX do you have now across all three locations at this time?
The last I have to do the count. I have some in storage. Like I shall probably have close to 100 pieces, like here in Toronto, and then I bought another something like 22 pieces. They're sitting in Austria, waiting to be shipped.
Oh, right.
So like around 120 pieces. I have 4 medical ones. Looks like I just purchased another 2 medical lumbar extensions, kind of negotiating a deal with somebody. So yeah, we have quite a few.
Yeah, amazing.
Like some people, like I say, some people like to collect watches, cars. Like I collect medics. Cannot have enough medics.
Well, I mean, it's a great investment, right? Because they don't seem to be they seem to still hold their value quite well, right? To an extent.
To me, is the big part of New Element Training brand, right? Like when they come to us, it's not about machines per se. It's not about this. It's about everything, every little detail, and machines play a big role in it. And and they have great story. Like when I just briefly tell clients about, just briefly about the Nautilus, how Arthur Jones started medical, like there's a story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And partly, what sells is also the story. That it's not just somebody put some, machines quickly together. Like, look at the history of research and development and the investment and the commitment people put into it so you can benefit. It's also machines. So for my brand, that's why I always stick in with MedX, because it's part of the story.
Yeah, I love that. It's interesting though, because it's you get some people make the mistake, or I believe it's a mistake, to be obviously educating the customer on the whole history of Arthur Jones and Nautilus and MedX from the get-go, because it can be overwhelming and maybe the poor timing. But I agree with you in that it's better to, and you kind of said it clearly there, like briefly explain it, but it's still powerful because it's a story and it's romantic, and humans love stories.
It's a story.
Right?
It's a story.
Yeah.
We have a problem. MedX has one of the best stories in terms of.
And it's such a cool story to share. Yeah.
I don't, when you open the business, I remember it was initial years, because everything we do, as you know, is different. Machines are different. One set, all those great things. And the client comes and you try to like, what's important to this client? Are they more concerned about this? And you kind of trying to figure out. And then, over the years, you kind of evolved and you just tell this uniform story about the brand and everybody gets it. Doesn't really matter almost who you are when you come in originally. But when time I tell you the story, you're going to buy into the story. And in terms of machines, I kind of very briefly just, tell them that it's, medical grade equipment, give some examples how you're more likely to actually find medics in kind of rehab, occupational therapy clinics. And I give them example, like similar to Kisa training. There's also places in German speaking Europe, they're more like physio places. right? Using the Alphax and Australia, it's like kids are training pretty much like a physio clinic, not a gym.
Huge over there.
I remember buying medical MedX from, well, two hospitals. One is retired doctor in Detroit, the first ones. They didn't have just medical, they also had like exercise line of MedX, and it's a clinic. And then when I bought my other medical machines from a hospital in, I think it was North Carolina, and they had the whole line. It's like a occupational therapy clinic. They held the whole line of MedX, normal, MedX. So I give people, listen, this is the quality of our equipment. It's like medical quality, great equipment. So why would you use something else if you have such a...
I love it. Before I let you go, Andrei, I have to just ask you another question. Obviously, we've talked about the importance of being mindful in order to grow your business. But one of the things you mentioned to me, and I just asterisked it, is you said the third location, you feel like you've nailed the formula for growing the studio. Like, could you elaborate on what that formula is to you? And when you open the fourth, what's going to be the plan there and the formula? Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll share it.
I'm sorry. I know you don't want to.
Well, as we talk location, neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be surrounded by your demographics, your clients. That's number one. Visibility. So, storefront. I'm not looking like second floor anymore. It has to be storefront, right? Parking. Village kind of feel where, there's a sense of community. And once you're inside the community will support you because they generally try to support local businesses. So those kind of things, the being in the neighborhood where you have your client base, in our case, for our business, for our clients, for essentially 50 plus people who care about their well-being and they can afford at least once weekly personal session, right? Those are clients that pay our bills and never leave.
Yeah.
And so you have to be in the right neighborhood, enough density. So, there is a good footprint of clients. Storefront.
What would be that for you? Minimum density?
I don't know, but, there has to be depth. It can't be just like a little island because, we're a very specialized business. It's not really, it's for everybody, but at the same time, you can say it's not for everybody, but not everybody going to love it.
That's so well said. Yeah.
As you know. So if you have a small footprint, people will come and try you, but once they leave, seldom they come back. Some come back, but usually seldom they come back. So you need to have enough density that you're always going to have, fresh blood coming in and staying. If you like on little island, once you run through the local population, once people leave, like might not be enough to sustain it. So,
sure. But do you have a number in mind, roughly?
I just go like, again, as I shoot from the hill. I just know the neighborhood. I know it's surrounded, like,
you just commit to a lease. Shoot from the hip.
Good enough for me. You just know when it's... You know good neighborhoods, right? And you just try to be in a good neighborhood with enough density. And again, store view is important, I realize, as well. Those
Cool. And when you open your fourth, how will you grow? Will you literally just open and will you do any marketing whatsoever, any launch?
Like a manager there. I'm going to take one of my senior trainers who are going to show the leadership skills and just looking at not just being a trainer, and then, try to figure out, this is when I'm going to try to figure out kind of formulas, life on a scale. So essentially we need to have like one person, responsible for location. Right now, I just have trainers and myself and my wife who does all that mean. But that would be the kind of the step where, okay, so now you're going to assign somebody in charge of the location. They're going to do the intros, that stuff. And then, try to see how we can make it work. Kind of put in managers.
Yeah. But I'm just, I that makes sense. And would you do any kind of like launch or marketing, or at least email the list to say, who do you know in the new location who might want a free workout?
Of course, yeah. And what? I realized that because for us, because it's such a specialized business, if I go too far, nobody knows about you, right? And if you like here in downtown, we have like, for example, the original location is surrounded by courthouses. Like the quality of the clients we have there is just crazy. Judges, all sort of levels, like really, really high-end clients. And we have so many of those. And they come to me, they want me to be the trainer. I said, I can't, like, you can't afford me. Nobody can afford me unless gonna buy my business. I'm not on a current basis. My time has to be focused on the business, growing the business, not, train specific clients. And then you go far when nobody knows who you are. And then like people come to you and like they look at you, try to sell them snake oil. It's kind of like a little bit discouraging. So the way I've been doing it, locations, I don't go too far. I go far enough, but not too far where I know that, like for the number 4, if I open in the neighborhood where I want to open, from day one, they're going to have clients, because I have lots of clients that living in those neighborhoods, not far, that's coming to our, downtown locations. So I know they just simply going to move to that other location. So now we have clients from day one, and then we do like promotional, like open house, to throw a party. I remember when we did with the third one was similarly, right? When we had clients from day one, we just moved from that location to another one. We threw a party. In that party, I think I've signed up like 10 clients, new clients, because everybody brought the friends and the families. They were excited. The training moves to the neighborhood. They've been telling about, this training passionately, as people in our kind of clients. And then we, within like first 1 or 2 weeks, we had decent number of clients for the location. So that's kind of how I'm trying to grow it. I don't go very far. So there is an overlap. And then we go from growing it from inside out, rather than putting it so far away that we're literally starting from zero, which is going to take you much longer to build it.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. Andrei, it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed catching up. Thank you so much for making the time. Obviously, anyone who's interested in learning more about Egor Barvich's MedX over in MedX Europe, let's call it. I don't know if he'd be happy me calling it that. There'll be a link below if you want to check that out. So thanks for sharing some of that information there, Andrei. And also, if you're listening to this and you would like a live Q&A with me to talk about your business or anything else, or just ask me any questions, not that I'm that interesting, you're very welcome to join my free school group. You'll see the link below, but it's in school.com/HIB. That stands for High Intensity Business -free. And Andrei, thanks again for doing this. This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do more soon. Congratulations on all your success. So happy to see it and so happy to hear the story. And thanks again.
Well, we're still here, man. You've been doing this for how many, like 12 years approximately?
Something like
around the same time when I opened your
Right. Yeah. We're similar timings. Yeah,
we're still here, 10 years, we'll be like, grandparents.
And here's to the next 10 or next 20. Who knows?
Exactly. And the one thing I want to say,
you'd have taken over the world by then. Sorry.
Well, hopefully, at least over the Canada. My goal is I'm okay with just take over Canada.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
good enough for me.
Right.
Since you mentioned Egor again, so I've known Egor from all these years. Very professional, very nice guy. Like he will like over deliver. So I would highly recommend him as a person as well, not just his equipment. So anybody who's considering buying some machines, he's quite reliable and professional guy to work with. I love it.
Yeah, he's extremely likable and very, very responsive as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I completely agree. Obviously, it's been a pleasure working with him so far. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Lawrence of High Intensity Business. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.